Hi. I'm wanted to teach on about Moses' brother Aaron this week, but God gave me something different. I was wondering why I never got the unction to um tie all that stuff together. I've written down a lot of passages concerning Aaron. Of course, there's a lot more that I'm not going to be touching on when I do get to do that, but uh, this is a time of year. Um, and this was something I learned when I was a police officer. Um, there are a lot more suicides this time of year than any other time of year. And I think it's because people feel lonely around Christmas when they don't have someone to share it with. Um, and also, uh, I can tell you from personal experience, namely my parents and some siblings, when you lose a close family member or just a really close friend, um, the first Christmas especially is hard because you're wanting to spend Christmas with whoever you lost. And by lost, I don't just mean they passed away. Also, it can be they're just not with you anymore. Um, and it makes it hard on people. Um, but just because it's hard doesn't mean you have to get depressed. Now, it's real easy to get depressed, like I say, especially when you've lost someone. And I'm going to give you instructions on how to get depressed. This is real easy. A lot of people think, well, you're just depressed because blah, 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 blah. Well, I'll tell you how to get depressed. Uh, this isn't the only way to get depressed that I'm going to talk about here, but I guarantee you this will work. And some of these things that I'm going to tell you about are also signs and symptoms of depression. Um, we all know someone like this. Um, somebody says hi. Well, I didn't like the way they said hi. What? Well, they weren't really looking in my eyes, or they were saying it like it's sarcasm or something. You're like, I thought they just said hi, but they're just never going to be happy. No matter what you do, how you do it, it's how they perceive it that's important to them. And they, like I say, they're just not going to be happy. Um, if you say something like, boy, ain't my dog nice? Well, my dog died. I mean, you can't say anything that they don't have something to say back. Um, my wife's real nice to me. She bought me a nice Christmas present. Well, my wife left me. Well, I'm sorry, but you know, uh, basically what it comes down to is they've got a problem for every solution. Now think about that. Someone that doesn't want to be depressed has a solution for every problem. They have it in reverse. Um, Here's another thing: worry. Uh, well, what if it snows next week? Well, if it snows next week, you deal with it next week. Yeah, but What if I want to go fishing that week, or hunting, or something, and I wanted to ride my motorcycle, or go riding four-wheelers, just something. You always got to have something to complain about, and you've got to have something to worry about. Um, you know, and this is always a big one because it's so frequent, especially these days. I never hear from my family. Well, find you a family. I've got some friends that make better family members than some of my family members. Uh, just find somebody, and don't be going in there going, well, I just can't wait for them to mess up so I'll have something else to complain about. Don't do that. Here's another thing, how to do this, how to get depressed and stay depressed. Concentrate on every bad thing. And by that I mean, like, my first wife left me for my best friend. Of course, my answer to that always is, well, of course she left you for your best friend. He took her, didn't he? That was pretty nice of him. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, and then my next wife left me because I didn't have the money to buy her some smoking dope, or, whatever. My dog died. The battery died on my vehicle and I can't afford to buy one. The neighbor's Christmas tree is too bright. You know what I'm saying? They're going to find something to complain about, and something to worry about, and something to concentrate on that is bad for them. And it's real simple because you look at these things from a bad standpoint. It's almost like they want to be unhappy. And these things I'm telling you right here, they're guaranteed to make you unhappy. They're guaranteed to make you depressed. And just, if that's what you want, is to be depressed, there you go. There's your roadmap. Now then, if you don't want to be depressed, the answer to that is found in one place. There's other places, but this is the one I'm going to be going to today. It's Philippians chapter 4. Some of you probably have heard at least part of this passage before. And starting in verse 4, Philippians 4, verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say, rejoice. When something gets repeated, it's like, you need to listen. Rejoice. Don't complain. Rejoice. Let your moderation be known unto all men. The Lord is at hand. Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Now think about that. When you rejoice, and instead of complain, and you pray to God to help you with this, the peace of God that passeth all understanding, right? You're not going to get peace if you're doing those things that I already mentioned. Now then, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Notice none of those are my wife left me, my dog died, my car's not as pretty as the neighbor's, These are things that you should think about because they're good things. Like right here it says, whatsoever things are true. A lot of people that complain about these things that I mentioned earlier are like, well, all women are like that. No, they're not. They know that, but they want to say that. Whatsoever things are honest. Not all people lie just to be lying. Unfortunately, some people do, but we're all humans. Whatsoever things are just. Some people do unjust things, but you think about the things that are just. Whatsoever things are pure, you don't look for impurity, you look for purity. Whatsoever things are lovely, you see the good in people. That's one way of looking at that. Whatsoever things are of good report, it's good news. You don't go around gossiping. You go around saying, so-and-so got them a new car. Man, God really bless them. Instead of, well, I don't get a new car. How come they get a new car? Okay, I'm back. Anyway, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. You concentrate on the good things. My wife left me. Well, might be better off without her. If there's any praise, you look for something to be thankful for. There are things to be thankful for. I don't care how bad you think you've been mistreated or anything else. There are good things. Of course, some people, it's like my dad used to say, they wouldn't be happy if you hung them with a brand new rope. My answer to that was, well, of course not. I want an old rotten one that's going to break. But there's a lot more things in here in this passage, but verse 13 is something that's good report, something to think about. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. That's the most important thing right there. Christ will strengthen you. But you don't need to be thinking about all the bad things all the time. You need to be thinking about the good things. And the first part is how to get depressed. Second part is how to not be depressed. And maybe next week I'll get to teach on Moses' brother Aaron. And I just, if any of you are hurting, talk to somebody. Don't hide it. Don't bottle it up. Talk to somebody. I love y'all. So does God. And we both want you to be in heaven. Just remember, people are not perfect. People will let you down, but Jesus never will. I love y'all. See you next time.